Hi, and welcome to the Caterpillar Cross Stitch YouTube channel. My name is Ford, and this week I'm going to be answering one of the questions that I see most frequently asked in the comments of my videos, as well as in the cross stitch groups that I'm in. And that question is, what the f does 2/2 mean? I'm going to explain to you what it is, how it's done, and why. Plus, I'm going to clarify one of the pieces of advice that's commonly given on this topic, but never really explained. So make sure you stick around to the end for my top tip there. This is a term that gets bandied about and definitely confuses a lot of new and even more experienced stitchers when we talk about stitching 2/2 or 1/2 or 2/1. It can get really confusing, so I'm going to explain what that term means and show you a little bit about how to do it. So the first question is, what is the first number, 2? That's easy. That one is how many strands of floss you are going to use for each stitch. 2 would indicate that you're using 2 strands of floss. Sometimes you'll see people stitch with 1 strand or 3 or 4 strands. It all depends on what the pattern requires and what the fabric calls for. Now, for one piece of clarification, if you're using the loop start, like I've taught you how to do multiple times in the past, folding that one piece of floss over is giving you 2 strands of floss. So 2/2 means 2 strands of floss, either 2 lengths or 1 length folded in half, just to get that out of the way. So what is the second number? Over what? So when we're talking about over 1 or over 2, what we're talking about is how many threads in the fabric we're going to stitch over the top of. Now the fabric that we cross stitch on is almost invariably a woven fabric, and it'll have an even weave. Even means that it has the same number of strands in the warp, that's the vertical threads, and the weft, those are the horizontal threads. So an even weave is a fabric that has the same count in both directions, and thus is good for cross stitching on. And that can vary from Aida to burlap to monk's cloth, and there are a bunch of other different ones as well. But the most common ones that we use are Aida or an even weave or a linen fabric. So I'm going to show you what we're talking about when we say over 2. So the first thing that we're going to look at is a piece of Aida fabric that I have here. So the way that we'll normally stitch on Aida fabric is that we'll bring our strand up through one hole and we'll go over to the adjacent hole. So we're stitching over 1 weave count of the fabric. That's an over 1 stitch. Now Aida doesn't have a very high stitch density most of the time. Usually we're working on 14, 16, or 18. On occasion you'll see some 20 count fabric, but it's pretty rare. So most of the time 18 is the smallest that you're going to see. That means that there are 18 holes, or 18 squares, depending on how you're counting, per inch of the fabric. Now sometimes we'll see people stitching on higher count fabrics. Once you get above about 20, most of the time you're working on something that we would call an even weave, and sometimes on a linen fabric. So an even weave fabric, like the one I've done a few stitches on right here, you can see that the density of these holes is a lot higher. And if you take a look at these few stitches that I've done, you'll see that I'm coming up out of one hole in the fabric, and I'm actually skipping over one hole and then going down over the next one. So we're going over 2 strands of the fabric's weave instead of just 1. So that's what the over 2 means, is over 2 threads of the fabric. And this has a few different effects on our project. The first most noticeable effect is going to be that it'll affect the size of the project. Since we're stitching over 2, we're going to have the density of the fabric, thus double the size of each stitch. So it's actually pretty easy to remember, because if we're stitching over 2 on a given fabric, we can just divide that fabric's count by 2, and that is how many stitches per inch we're going to be doing. So on a 28 count fabric like this one, since I'm stitching it over 2, we divide 28 by 2, and that's 14. I'm going to be making 14 stitches per inch. So my project is going to wind up the same size as if I had stitched it on 14 count fabric. But if you're going to stitch on a higher count fabric, like this 28 count that I've got here, you can also actually stitch over 1. I've got a few little half stitches that I've done over 1 here as well. So that makes my stitches much smaller and much more dense, and therefore it makes the project half as big when I'm finished because I'm stitching 28 stitches per inch instead of the 14 stitches per inch I normally would be. As you can see, that makes it pretty difficult to see and it's pretty difficult to work with, but it can result in some really, really excellent detail. So the biggest advantages of stitching over one that way would be that the project will be smaller and it will have better coverage and better detail. But most of the time when we use higher count fabrics like these, we are stitching over two. We're doing one stitch per two strands of the fabric. And that has some advantages as well. One, the size is going to wind up being closer to what was intended if the project was charted for 14 count Aida, for instance. Two, it's going to be easier to see and complete those stitches because they won't be quite so small. Another nice thing about stitching over two is that if you are doing a project that has a lot of fractional stitches, it makes it a lot easier to do those stitches because you can just go down through that middle hole in the fabric instead of having to punch a hole in the fabric like you would have to do with Aida in order to be able to do a fractional stitch, like a quarter stitch or a 3/4 stitch. So if you have a project that calls for a lot of 1/4 and 3/4 stitches, doing it over two on a higher count fabric is a really excellent way to handle that. Another nice thing about stitching over two that way is that it adds some character to the piece. If we take a look at this project that I did here on 28 over 2, you'll notice that my cross stitches don't exactly line up with the weave count of the fabric. So I kind of like the way it breaks up the 1-to-1 ratio of the fabric to the pattern. If you want to make sure that you're keeping up with all things Caterpillar cross stitch, make sure you find us on social media like Facebook and Instagram, and then go sign up for the email Stitch Club newsletter. For one thing, you'll get 10 free PDF cross stitch patterns, including that cool year-long tracker pattern I showed you how to use last week, and you'll also get advance notice of any upcoming stitch-alongs, retreats, socials, those sorts of things. So make sure you hit the link in the description or in the pinned comment so that you don't miss out. So how do you know when you should be stitching over two on a higher count fabric instead of over one on a lower count fabric, or even over one on a high count fabric? One good indication would be if a pattern calls for a lot of specialty and fractional stitches, 3/4 stitches, 1/4 stitches, etc. Those especially are much easier to do over two on a high count fabric, because as I mentioned, you don't have to punch a hole in the fabric with each fractional stitch. So that makes it a lot easier on your fingers, and it also makes those stitches end up a lot tidier. Another time would be if the pattern calls for it or specifies it. Sometimes the pattern will say stitch over two on 28 count or stitch over two on 32 count fabric. Usually there is a good reason for that. Sometimes is because of those fractional stitches. Other times would be because it's doing something else special that you won't be able to do if you stitch it on Aida. There are some patterns from some very popular designers and publishers out there, for instance, that certain portions of the pattern will be done in what's called petit point, or small point stitches. So there are some very ornate and elaborate stitches, for instance, of like women in flowing dresses and stuff, where most of the pattern is over two. So you've got those full-size stitches. But then when you get into a specific area, like frequently the face of the woman in the portrait, it'll go to over one stitches so that they are smoother and smaller, and it really enhances the detail and increases the clarity of that portion of the pattern. So if the pattern or kit calls for you to stitch over two, probably you're going to want to, because there's a high likelihood that there's a good reason for that. If you're thinking about trying a new craft, check out Caterpillar Crochet. It's the same friendly staff and community that you're used to, plus beginner-friendly kits and patterns. Find us on Facebook or on Instagram to get started on that. Now there are some drawbacks to stitching over two. The most prominent one is that it gets harder to count. Because you're doing 2 threads per stitch of the fabric, it becomes a lot harder to count out across an open area to find where your next stitch is, whether that's unstitched or whether that's just in colors that are going to be filled in later, because it creates the possibility of miscounting by 1/2 of a stitch. So if you're trying to count over 7 empty squares to find the next stitch of the color that you're working on, and you accidentally get off by 1 strand, then you could accidentally wind up at 6.5 or 7.5 stitches away from where you were, and that's really frustrating and difficult to fix. So that is the main drawback. But the tip that I'm going to tell you about stitching on high count fabric is actually going to help quite a bit with that. Now, the first tip that I'm going to give you about stitching on a higher count fabric like that is going to be about when you're stitching over 1. If you're stitching over 1 on a higher count fabric, there's a potential for the stitches sometimes to slip underneath the weave. Let me show you what I'm talking about. I've built this little visual aid here, and I've got these slats of paper standing in for the weave of my fabric. And I've got this yarn standing in for the first half of all of my cross stitches. So these are all half stitches. Now the way you would normally stitch that, at least the way I would normally stitch that, is to go from bottom left corner to top right, and then come down here, and then go up here, just like this. This is the path that my thread takes through that fabric. But the problem that that creates is at this point right here, when I am crossing the horizontal thread, there is nothing preventing my stitch from just slipping straight underneath that. Now that can't happen at the vertical one because this vertical thread stops that. But at every horizontal thread, because my stitch is just wrapping around the weave of the fabric, it can be pulled underneath it. Obviously, that's not going to make for nice, tidy stitches. So we've got those diagonals on the front, and we've got all these little vertical lines on the back, and you can see where my stitches have just pulled underneath those. Obviously, that is not good. So in order to prevent that, when you're stitching over 1 on a high count even weave, instead of using half stitches to start your cross stitches, you want to use tent stitches. Now I've made a whole video about that here that'll go into more detail, but I'll explain the very short version of how that's done. So the way I would normally stitch the first half of my cross stitch is to go from one hole to the other. That's my blue pen here. And then down to the next hole, and then diagonal up to the next one. Just continuing like that all the way across. Now that gives me the potential, every other stitch, for it to slip underneath. So for a tent stitch, it's gonna look the same on the front, but we're gonna make the stitches in a different order so that we don't have that problem. And that would be, for each stitch, I would go from the top left corner to the bottom right, and then the return stitch is what I call it, the stitch that's on the back of the fabric, would go all the way over to the top left corner of my next stitch while on the back. And then my half stitch will go diagonally down. So instead of going up and to the right, I'm going down and to the left with each stitch while moving from left to right on the fabric. Oops, I drew that one in the wrong color. So that goes there, and then this one goes up and over here, and then this one goes back down to this corner. So let me show you a little bit more detailed what that looks like. So if we go back to my paper fabric analog here, these are my half cross stitches on the front, but if we look at the back, we can see that they are not actually half cross stitches, they are tent stitches. So with each stitch, instead of going bottom left to top right, down, bottom left to top right, down, I'm going top left, top right to bottom left, 2 over 1 up, down diagonally 1, 2 over 1 up, down diagonally 1. So that gives me these 2 stitch long stitches on the back. This uses a little bit more thread than if you were just doing half cross stitches, but it prevents that problem from happening because each one of those stitches is now secured in place by an opposing piece of thread in the fabric. Now that problem of your stitches potentially slipping underneath the weave of the fabric is also the reason for a commonly heard but not often understood piece of advice about stitching over 2 on even weave fabric. And that is that people will tell you to start your stitch against the fence post of the fabric. That means start your stitch against one of the spots where the warp, the vertical stitch, is on top. So when you come up out of the fabric, the piece of the strand of fabric weave that you go across first is going to be a vertical one. That is to prevent a very similar problem to the one that we observed when stitching over 1, which is that if you don't do it that way, you see here I've come up against a horizontal piece of the fabric, you've got the potential for your stitches on both sides to slip underneath the weave of the fabric. And that won't usually happen while you're stitching, but it might happen later while you're doing the other half of a stitch or while you're burying a strand from a later thread or something like that. So it becomes very difficult to fix and do anything about. So if instead you start by coming up next to what people call a fence post, one of the warp or vertical threads of the fabric, then it can't slip underneath because it's being opposed by the crossing of those two pieces of weave there. So if you always make sure that your thread comes up against a fence post or against a vertical thread in the fabric, then you won't have that problem of your stitches slipping underneath. That also has the added benefit of making it easier to tell if you've miscounted. If you've miscounted by a half of a count, the place that you want to bring your needle up to start your next stitch is not going to be a fence post. It's going to be a railroad tie or a fence rail, I guess would probably be the most effective analogy. So if you go to make your next stitch and you realize that you're about to come up against a rail instead of a post, you can realize, oh, I've miscounted by half a stitch. So in addition to preventing that stitch slipping problem, it's also an error-proofing technique for your counting. So hopefully this has helped clarify a little bit what 2/2, 1/2, 2/1, what all of that means, and answer the question if it's one that's been nagging you or that you've been afraid to ask. What about you? Do you have some special tips for dealing with stitching on linen or a confusing term that you still haven't gotten a good explanation of? Hit it down in the comments and I'll add it to my list of ideas. Other than that, I do want to thank you so much for watching. For Caterpillar Cross Stitch, my name is Ford, and I will see you next week.